In the past month, Activision have rolled out microtransactions in Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, and the community has had a huge reaction to it. But what is the true meaning behind these microtransactions? Let's discuss right now.
I got hot sauce in my bag, swag.
A quick shout to Foof of Death. So Foof of Death is actually the creator of my Metal Duckles avatar, and so this is a fan art that she drew actually. This is not just me, but also my Discord staff. So we've got Drug Deal over here, Moon, we've got Silva, and then we got Foof at the bottom there in particular. And so this is awesome. We look like the Avengers. We're really badass group over here. So check out the Discord server if you want. But thank you so much, Foof. I really appreciate this. Anyway, hello there, beautiful human. My name is RidersDX, and welcome to my channel, where today we're going to be tackling a topic that might as well be World War. How many world wars have there been on the internet? Yes, we are talking about the exciting topic of money and how Activision is probably thinking, hello, I like money. Microtransactions have made their way to Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, despite initial reports that led consumers to thinking that there would be no such thing in the game. For those of you who don't know, Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled has something called a pit stop, where you can spend Wumpa coins you earned by playing the game on various accessories, characters, carts, and more to beef up your experience of the game. Though there has been a lot of criticism for this system because the Wumpa coin payouts have been awkward. You see, when you play any race locally, you'll probably get some payout that's less than 100 coins, but considering the fact that tires and stickers in this shop can cost 2,500 coins and there are hundreds of items to unlock in this game, you can understand why people may take issue with the payout. It truly is a completionist nightmare, so good thing I ain't one of them. However, and yes, all of these intricate steps are indeed legit. If you go online and play during the weekend, you could earn as many as 700 coins for each race you play. It is called the weekend bonus, and it is basically vital to clearing out the pit stop if that's what you're going for. There is also the issue that you have to be connected to the internet to earn any Wumpa coins, even when you're playing offline. So all of this was just strange to say the least. I personally wasn't too sure what the meaning of this strange system was. I had reviewed the game shortly after it was released, and I honestly had little to no opinion on the pit stop. I simply thought it was a cool system to unlock content in the game. It was only until after I reviewed the game that I started seeing just how much of a grind clearing the pit stop could be and how unusually unbalanced the earning system is. Not to mention the setup itself is very strange. I mean, why have all these items just rotate out of the shop every 24 hours? Why not just have them all listed and let us buy whatever we want? Why just this confusing mess that you call a pit stop? That became abundantly clear once it was announced through a press release from Activision themselves that microtransactions were coming to Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. And it's not like it was this huge blown out announcement. It was sneakily inserted in the middle of a lengthy blog post detailing everything being offered in the Back in Time Grand Prix. As always, the pit stop will be stocked with new and returning characters and cosmetic items, which players can unlock using Wumpa coins. With all this content available, there will also now be a way for players to fast track the Wumpa coin collection if they like. Starting in early August, players will have the option to purchase Wumpa coin bundles from their game console stores to supplement the coins they earn by playing. This option won't change the game's core mechanics. Players will still earn Wumpa coins by playing the game in any mode just as before. They will just be able to purchase additional coins if they choose. So it suddenly made a lot of sense why the pit stop was structured the way that it was, why playing the game online was so heavily pushed, and why the Wumpa coin payouts are so weird. Obviously, when this was announced, the community had a very strong reaction to the news, and it became a huge spectacle online. Many people were quick to express their disappointment and even anger at the news. A big note for me. I mean, come on, you get a small number of Wumpa coins for winning a race, and it takes so many to unlock something. They were definitely doing to make money from microtransactions. This is why I absolutely hate Activision and try not to support them. Given the already disappointing second Grand Prix, not really interested in the baby characters or the dinosaurs, this pushes me over the edge just to delete the game from my Switch. Maybe I'll reinstall it for the Spiral Grand Prix, but I don't know. They need to go. Microtransactions do not belong in a game that already costs money, and they especially do not belong in a remake of a beloved classic. I'm personally not a fan of the decision. Sure, it may just be for coins which give access to cosmetics and a small handful of characters, but I think it's a bad idea. I think it takes the point away of grinding for new cards and skins when now you can just buy them. Games should be like how they used to be. You buy the game and you have all the game and its content. However, I will admit free DLC such as the Grand Prix is fine. It adds more content and no extra cost. I'm not surprised about the situation though. This is Activision we're talking about after all. Just look at what they did with loot crates in any recent Call of Duty game. They are simply too money hungry. This sucks. If the pit stop was only for buying cosmetic items, I would not care, but since a lot of characters only can be unlocked through the pit stop, makes this disgusting. However, other people were defending the microtransactions, looking at the positives of the situation. If it helps fund a future Crash Bandicoot title, I guess that's okay. Still not happy they're present. Doesn't bother me. They're completely optional and Grand Prix content will eventually be added into the pit stop, so I have until the end of time to get everything at my own pace. Now, if the Grand Prix was a pay per season like in Fortnite, then we're gonna have some problems. I think it is a good thing in the long run because it will fund the future updates in Grand Prix, etc. I was wondering how they would keep updating it with so much content with any income to make all these updates happening. But this was my thoughts, but I'm not an expert or anything. I am mostly okay with it as long as Wumpa coin rates aren't changed. They need a way to support and justify all the free Grand Prix content. I would not like to pay for each Grand Prix like Fortnite seasons, especially when they are so short. I would prefer to pay for DLC racers and tracks instead of microtransactions. I hate them in everything that is not free for the base game. Mishandled PR, but I'm okay with them. You can only buy cosmetics with them and the economy is good enough for self-sustainment. Will benefit the game in the long run, keeping service up and monthly content. Others were more on the fence, unsure of how to feel about the situation exactly. Personally, I think of it as kind of a mixed bag. Like yes, we all sort of expected this coming from Activision, but people seem to be missing the fact that it's just for in-game currency. Though putting the pit stop gear behind paywalls, however, that would be understandable. Honestly, microtransactions are not needed, but I can see why they would add them. You have to pay the developers for their time and effort as well as the people in charge of the online servers, and even then, a publisher gets the final say as they own the IP. But even then, the game is fun and that's what matters. Microtransactions are not. A wise man named Reggie once said, the game is fun, if it's not, then why bother? It's 50-50 to be honest. It's a good addition as some people have other things to do or want to play other games, so it allows them to still purchase the things that they want in game. But on the other hand, we were told no microtransactions and now they are here and it takes away the purpose of playing the game. All I can say is that I have the same reaction as Stu. The game has to live somehow, guys. It's not a charity. I'll take a free patch, updates, maps, and active work on the game for a small price of microtransactions that you can skip easily. The entirety of the gaming industry was founded on selling a game once. They've made money on games for years this way, and until recently, modern games have also kept the game active with patches and content. Plus, they literally said there would be no microtransactions. With all of this going on, I've noticed that there's been a lot of talk of Activision and Beenox initially promising there would be no microtransaction. Obviously, if this was the case, then that would be a very shady thing to do because they're essentially breaking a promise. So I went to investigate if this was actually true or not. This article from Screen Rant was cited by tons of people as to evidence that they had promised there would be no microtransactions in this game. Let's take a look. It's been a long time since 1999 though, and 20 years out from its original release, Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled is adamant it will stay true to its roots. The biggest indicator, despite featuring online content and DLC plans for the future, all of Nitro-Fueled is microtransaction free. In a sit-down presentation hands-on during E3 2019, a member of the Nitro-Fueled team stated that the entire game would avoid microtransactions, instead offering new content for free during the game's lifecycle. The only paid content at launch will be the differences between the regular and collector's versions of the game, the latter of which will offer cosmetic items and the ability to play characters ahead of when players would normally have access to them. While this is exactly what the article says, there isn't an actual quote from the developers here. So here are a few clips I gathered from various interviews of the staff where we can hear exactly what they were saying when it came to free content.
Wow, you guys are giving so much amazing content and the original nostalgia.
Yeah.
But speaking
all
of
that
nostalgia,
for free, by the way. All that for free.
all of that for free.
Yes. And right at E3, we've just announced the Grand Prix, which is sort of post-launch content, post-launch seasonal content, free for everyone, starting July 3rd. So.
What we announced at E3 is called the Grand Prix, and it's something that we are absolutely the most excited about because it's just the developer Beenox creating all kinds of really cool and unique content, and then just giving it away to fans for free.
Whoa, wait.
So here's the thing I wanted to bring up with these clips. Nowhere did they explicitly say there would be no microtransactions. Rather, they opted to say that the Grand Prix content will be free, which is still true. The way the microtransactions are set up are simply just for buying Wampa coins, but this doesn't impede you from actually having to buy something to get a certain item as long as you dedicate enough time to the game to earn the Wampa coins to get those items. So technically, as far as I was able to muster up, no one at Activision or Beenox actually said there would be no microtransactions. In fact, I am willing to bet that in that 46-page long legal document that we all had to scroll through when initially playing the game, there was probably some mention of in-game purchases. I just have a hunch that that was a thing. Let me know in the comment section below if you have an actual quote of a staff member saying there were no microtransactions, but from the research I was able to do, I feel that Screen Rant probably took a comment similar to what Thomas Wilson made about the Grand Prix and concluded that that meant no microtransactions, which is a reasonable thing to come up with from hearing that. Obviously, our ears perk up the word free, and one way or another, that leads to people simply saying there would be no microtransactions. But clearly, Activision had made no effort whatsoever to clear that up, so they also benefited from the positive press when the game was first launched. But to conclude, no. Activision Beenox did not actually lie and say there would be no microtransactions. At least there is no video evidence of them saying such a thing. But at the end of the day, does it even matter? Here are my final thoughts about the idea of microtransactions, and not just Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, but in video games as a whole. I am not a fan of microtransactions, you know? I prefer like the traditional model of just buying a game with all the content that should be in it and, you know, not having to worry about paying more money to get access to more content. I mean, it's actually why I don't actually download a lot of downloadable content because, you know, I miss the days when everything that you wanted to be in the game was in the game, and I really don't see a reason that developers can't just like put everything that they intend to be in the game in the actual game. But of course, the main reason that they do this is because publishers want to make more money, which is fair, you know. As long as the base game does have like enough content to stand on its own, then I guess it is fair. But I personally am not a big fan of microtransactions, and I would rarely ever like participate in them, and that is why I'm not a big fan of a lot of mobile games, because a lot of those games are set up to profit off of microtransactions, which makes a lot of sense for a lot of them because a lot of them like are what, $1 or $2 in the App Store, or maybe like no money at all, and so there's gotta be some kind of way to make a profit off of it. But in Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled's case, this is a retail game. I mean, it's not fully priced, it's at $40, but like it is a remake, and so it makes sense to price it at $40 for a remake. But Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled nonetheless is going for microtransactions, and I just don't like the whole idea of them being in the game. Like, I don't think it should be that way. I think Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled should instead make it so that people can earn Wampa coins more easily on their own. But of course, that's not the most profitable way of doing it, and we all know Activision kind of tends to go towards a direction of going for more of a profit than making a better game experience. And so I think it's a little bit scummy that they made it seem like there would be no microtransactions at the beginning, but like I said before, they didn't technically lie, and so there's technically not a completely wrong thing that they're putting microtransactions now. Not to mention there probably was that legality clause like I mentioned before, but I'm not really for them, and so I'm not gonna spend any money on them, and I really don't think people should spend money on it either. You know, it's just practice that I know is gonna stay in gaming because it's just so profitable, it's so easy to implement. It's not gonna go away, despite my wishes that it would go away. And so the only thing you can really do in this case is just not buy into them, and maybe developers will see that it's not a worthwhile investment and just not do it in the future. Or even it may turn gamers away from buying the game, which is a little bit extreme, but maybe that would be the only way to truly get rid of them, and that's not gonna happen. And so all you can do is just like not support it, and yeah, just like don't buy into the microtransactions. There's really nothing else you can do, because as long as like 1 or 2 people buy these microtransactions, then it's profitable, because I don't envision the maintenance fees of like putting those microtransactions in the game being that expensive, and so there really is no way to get rid of them. I'm sorry, y'all. People that are against them, you know, do not get your hopes up in thinking they'll be removed, because there's absolutely no way in hell they're going to be removed. As long as Activision makes a little bit of profit off of them, then they're not going to be removed. However, at the same time, I do kind of see the viewpoint that like, okay, people that don't have time to play these games and like get all the unlockables, this would be a nice way to at least let them have access to all the content. And I can definitely empathize with this. I actually am a pharmacy resident right now, and so I work like 50-ish hours a week, and so yeah, I don't have the time to unlock all this content as a result. But I am against microtransactions, and so I'm not going to purchase them. And if you're not for them either, then you don't purchase them either. But if you do like them and you are going to purchase them, then feel free to. You know, it's a free country, free world, do what you want to do. But I am just a little bit like annoyed and saddened that this is the future of gaming and it's just going to get worse. So there's really nothing you can do about it. Hate to be like the cynical person here, but there's no way these are going away anytime soon, so you might as well just get used to them and just don't support them. You know, that's all you can do. Speak with your money. But okay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about what you think about this whole situation. Do you like the idea that microtransactions are in Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled? Do you not like the idea? Let me know why or why not in the comment section below. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. Okay, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these, want to see more in the future, follow me on Twitter or Twitch, and join my Discord server, the Spongy Garden. Special shout out to Reese Gaming, Team Rival Sonic Gamer, Carmine Grasso, Blitz Productions, Andrew Coughlin, and Glitch Dolphin. These are my Patreon/YouTube members. If you'd like to become a patron/YouTube member and get access to a whole bunch of different perks, then check out the links in the description box below. But alright, this is Riders, riding out.